let's talk about Gotham. Gotham is a city which sits in diametric opposition to everything that one would consider a city. It is lawless, it is corrupt, it is a city which breeds madness and anarchy, to the point where one would question, why would anyone live there? And much the same, the show Gotham sits diametrically opposed to the rest of the Batman continuity, beginning as a police procedural, which sort of morphs and changes over the 5 seasons that it inhabits, becoming wackier and more absurd, in a way becoming akin to the 60s Batman show, only emo. One can question where this shift starts, but I think we can all agree that the catalyst for this show's not just change, but why the show persisted for as long as it did was due to Cameron Monaghan's turn as Jerome. You see, during the time of when this show was made, it was beholden to what was called the Bat Embargo. It was only allowed to use certain characters, not allowed to use Batman, and not allowed to use the Joker. But the show's creators sought to find a way around that, presenting a series of characters which could one day be the Joker, but head and shoulders above the rest came Cameron Monaghan as the broken Jerome, and his portrayal was instantly jettisoned as the real McCoy. And over time he developed a sort of soft rivalry with Bruce Wayne. So today the scene we're looking at is a scene where it's prototype genesis for the Batman-Joker relationship, as we see a young Bruce Wayne go up against Jerome, who is a proto-Joker but not really, and a character who certainly acts like the Joker, looks like the Joker, but is not allowed to be called the Joker, to the point of where they had to kill him off, bring him back, cut his face off, and then create a twin just to get to a Joker by the end of the show. Because whoever said that storytelling had to be a linear straight line? And considering how we're talking about a character such as the Joker, is it any wonder that it is a wacky flowchart of incongruity? So let's take a look at this scene, as well as this episode from Season 3, and look at not only the genesis of the Batman-Joker relationship, but also why Jerome was a ratings bump whenever he appeared in the show. I'm not strictly covering it as a part of this video, but there are several key points within this episode that are standout moments, or just moments where the Bat persona shines through. I think one of the key moments of this is when Bruce tries to save a chap who's being threatened with piranhas.
Is there a plan for all this madness?
These people don't want a plan, they want an excuse. A mother who dreams of strangling her child. Husband who wants to stab his wife. All they want is someone to tell them. Do it.
No, please. No.
You won't get away with it.
I already did. Now, shush.
So what's the point?
The point is that all these people out here, looting, robbing, killing, they're the people who wash your car, who pour your coffee, who take out your trash. And what happened the moment the lights went out? They showed their true faces. That is the point.
That's not true.
And he tries to save the chap, fails, and Jerome tries to illustrate his point that the world doesn't allow for heroism, that always evil will prevail, chaos and anarchy will come through.
There are good people in Gotham.
Face it, kid. Gotham has no heroes.
No!
Hey! Val! He pushed me, you see that?
You want to kill someone? Let's get on with it, come on!
You're so boring, Bruce.
No!
Bruce stands as the only person in this sea of madness that says no, and that is the perfect place where Batman stands, as being the one man in a storm of endless anarchy that says, no, people are good, people can be better. And this is punctuated when he does not rise to Jerome's attempts to cause damage, to cause pain, by not reacting when he tries to staple him in the arm.
Did that hurt?
Not much.
You tried.
It sort of illustrates this point, or this dynamic that Batman and the Joker have, of the push and pull, of the unstoppable force and the unmovable object. The Joker is chaos personified, anarchy, pain, torture, the worst of humanity. Whereas Batman stands as the best of humanity, the apex, the standing of order, of justice. And that all comes together in the House of Mirrors. Much like Enter the Dragon, perfect place for symbolism.
Bruce, darling.
And that is, already we are beginning with a line that is straight from the Joker. He calls, I'm trying to think of when this homoerotic language around the Joker started. I think it was around The Dark Knight Returns with Frank Miller, where he started calling Batman like darling, like sweet, trying to add this sort of tone of a sort of romantic connection between the two characters. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Frank Miller.
You ruined my show, Bruce. Hiding is just gonna make things worse.
I didn't come here to hide.
This sort of setup has to be found in a comic book somewhere. The Joker dressed in circus attire, going against Batman in a House of Mirrors. That has to be in a comic book somewhere. It is perfect for it. I'm just thinking, with the whole embargo about how Batman and the Joker weren't allowed to be used in the show, how did they get away with this? It is clear what they're doing, and it is amazing they got away with it.
You're going to pay for what you've done.
Just like how Cameron Monaghan should be allowed the chance to come back as the Joker, David Mazouz should be given the opportunity to come back and play Batman. I would be happy to see him in a Batman Year One type project, something like that, and it would be right. After playing Bruce Wayne, for the child version of Bruce Wayne for so long, to let him play Batman, it's kind of a given.
I have to tell you, this is way more fun than I was expecting. We make a good team, you and me.
This is about doing what's right.
You want to be a hero? Tell you what, buddy. I'll give you a fighting chance. Let's do this mano a mano, my little conquistador.
And by mono a mono, he means with a concealed knife. Very Joker.
What kind of hero tackles someone from behind? Let it out. That's it. That's it.
And a part of it is interesting in this episode how Jerome is trying so hard to make Bruce see his side of thinking, of using the we're not so different trope. In a way it fits Joker's character, but at the same time it kind of doesn't. Because where is the fun in Batman seeing the same thing as Joker, or being exactly the same as the Joker, because then the Joker will never have that force to go against. So I think Joker does want Batman to see the world he sees it, but I don't think he would be happy with that, because then he would have no more fun. There wouldn't be a joke anymore. It would be the joke you could only tell once. And once again, because we're in a House of Mirrors, we have plenty of symbolism. And it's interesting that this is where the formation of Batman's no-kill rule is in this continuity, because how it's set up in the show is not just that Joker and Batman are two opposing forces, but that they are both products of Gotham. That they are both orphans who have suffered under the corruption of Gotham, and while it made Jerome into this anarchic monster that only derives pain, Bruce is made into this force of good, of justice, of doing what's right. And this is solidified here, where finally he sees the cracked reflection in the mirror and sees the differences between the two and how easily it would be for Bruce to become just like Jerome if he crosses that line. And in a way it is kind of perfect that Joker, the character that most is protected by Batman's no-kill rule, is the reason why his no-kill rule was formed. Now, with the way that Gotham's continuity progresses, it turns out this guy wasn't actually the Joker. But the seeds that this scene plants are seeds of the eventual dynamic we see between Batman and the Joker, of these two opposing forces, of the push and pull, and the ultimate formation of why Batman creates his no-kill rule, not just because every life is worth saving, which it is, but also because if he does cross that line, it would turn him into exactly what the Joker is. Chaos and disorder, whereas Batman stands as order, as justice.
It wasn't just anger. After everything Jerome had done, after all the pain he caused, the idea of killing him felt right. Yes. It felt like justice.
There's a very fine line, Master Bruce, between justice and vengeance.
But that doesn't mean there isn't one. I will not kill.
Say it again.
I will not kill.
Then let's get to work.
In a way, it is an advantage of a show like Gotham that it can do this, that it can create these stories out of these simple mantras. Batman doesn't kill. Why? And it's a part of the character that's hardly really explained except for people trying to push against it. I'm trying to think of what other Bat media there is where it shows why Batman does not kill. The only one I can think of is the Dark Knight trilogy, where he says, I'm not an executioner, I'm going to bring justice to my city, but I'm not going to enforce it through killing. And it's oddly apropos that the question of Batman's no-kill rule comes up in this video, considering where we stand in terms of justice in our country. Because make no mistake, there is lawlessness about, and a sense that no real justice is being done, or that the people that are being punished are the wrong people, are the innocents. And not too long ago, Rupert Lowe called in the House of Commons for a reconsideration of the use of capital punishment. He was the only one who said, let's put it back on the table, and everyone else jeered, booed, and said, that's not the way to go. And for a while I deliberated on my stance on capital punishment, because historically I've been against capital punishment. But then what do you do with someone who is unrepentant, someone who refuses to change, someone like the Joker, someone willing to routinely cross that line and have fun with it? What do you do with that kind of person? Someone like Batman, it's not their place to kill. He is an agent of law and order, of justice, but it is not his place to put that order, to put the law into his own hands and take a life. But then how do we decide that? Through a jury of our peers? Well, apparently a jury is about to become a thing of the past. Therefore I worry. Not that perhaps capital punishment will be put back on the table through official channels, through legal channels, through jury trial, but that it'll be brought back into the hands of the vigilante justice. That people will see unrepentant monsters crossing that line flagrantly and say, right, I need to dirty my hands in order to right this wrong. But frankly, it seems every day the whole country is turning more and more into Gotham City. So what will be the answer to it? But for now, thank you for watching this week's video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you watched till the end. And be sure to check out this video, which I hope you'll find to your liking. I'll see you next time.